Good evening, everyone. Thanks to you all who have joined so far. We opened it up a couple of minutes early, so we still got another minute or so before DDO gets started. So hang tight.
Good evening. My name is Dee Dee Gowan, and I'm one Income Taxpayer Clinic at Indiana Legal Services. And this evening, I'm going to talk to you about the Enhanced Child Tax Credit that was enacted under the American Rescue Plan Act on March 11th of 2021. Next slide, please. You might be asking, what is the Child Tax Credit? The Child Tax Credit is a tax benefit granted to taxpayers for each qualifying dependent child. You might be asking, how do tax credits work? Tax credits reduce actual tax liabilities. This is distinct from tax deductions, which reduce your taxable income. Most tax credits operate to reduce only the tax liability. And once the tax liability is zero, the tax credit is finished. It's gone. It's done. Refundable credits are different than regular tax credits. I like to call them super credits because they pay out even after your tax liabilities are reduced to zero. What's left over generates a refund. Examples of refundable credits include the child tax credit, the earned income tax credit, the premium tax credit, and the recovery rebate credit associated with the recent economic impact payments or stimulus payments. Next slide. Let's talk about the child tax credit before the expansion under the American Rescue Plan Act. For 2020 tax returns, the child tax credit is worth $2,000 per child under the age of 17. The child must have a Social Security number, be related to you, and qualify and be claimed as a dependent on your tax return. While the child must have a Social Security number, the parent can file with an I-10 and qualify. Up to $1,400 is refundable for lower income individuals. Again, refundable means that it pays out even if you do not owe tax, but under the old child tax credit, only $1,400 is refundable. Also, taxpayers must have earned income of at least $2,500 to qualify to get the child tax credit. And the credit begins to phase out if your adjusted gross income is above $200,000 on a single or head of household return, or $400,000 on a joint return. And then the credit is reduced by $50 for every $1,000 of income over these threshold amounts. So this was the child tax credit before the American Rescue Plan Act. Next slide, please. The American Rescue Plan Act temporarily expands the child tax credit for tax year 2021. The credit is increased to $3,600 per child under the age of 6 and $3,000 for children ages 6 to 17. 17-year-olds now qualify. That's new. The credit is fully refundable or pays out even if you don't owe taxes. Previously, only $1,400 was refundable. Additionally, the $2,500 earnings floor is removed. You do not have to have any earnings to qualify for the new enhanced child tax credit. And half of the credit can be received in advance by having the IRS send periodic payments between July and December 2021. Like the economic impact payments or the stimulus payments, the new enhanced child tax credit payments will not be offset for past due federal taxes, past due state income taxes, or other federal or state debts, nor will it be offset for child support payments. However, this prohibition on offsets does not cover garnishments after the funds are deposited into a bank account. Next slide. Let's talk about the phase out for wealthier families. Not all families with children will get the higher or the enhanced child tax credit for 2021. The enhanced tax credit begins to phase out at adjusted gross incomes of $75,000 on single returns, $112,500 on head of household returns, and $150,000 on joint returns. The phase out will reduce the credit by $50 for each $1,000 of adjusted gross income over the applicable threshold amount. Note, however, that this phase out is limited to the new enhanced credit amounts and not the regular $2,000 child tax credit amount. Families who are not eligible for the higher or the enhanced child tax credit for 2021 will still be able to claim the regular child tax credit of $2,000 per child. Next slide. Periodic payments. The American Rescue Plan Act calls for the IRS to send out advance payments periodically from July through December of 2021 to eligible families. The goal is that the IRS will send out payments monthly for a total of 6 advance payments. These payments will account for half of the family's 2021 child tax credit. If the family qualifies for the full amount, the payments will amount to $300 per child under the age of 6 and $250 per child ages 6 to 17. To determine eligibility for the advance payments, the IRS will first look to your 2020 tax return. If a 2020 tax return has not been filed yet, the IRS will look to the 2019 tax return. So one of those two returns must be filed, unless you use the portal, and we'll talk about that too. If this is made permanent going forward, these payments have the potential to reduce child poverty in half. Next slide, please. Let's talk for a minute about overpayments. With the advance payment of the child tax credit, there will sure be instances in which families receive more from the IRS than they're entitled to. The American Rescue Plan Act contemplates this by providing a safe harbor for lower and moderate income taxpayers. Families with 2021 adjusted gross income below $40,000 on a single return, $50,000 on a head of household return, and $60,000 on a joint return will not have to repay any credit overpayments they receive. On the other hand, families with 2021 adjusted gross income of twice that, of $80,000 on a single return, $100,000 on a head of household return, and $120,000 on a joint return, they will need to repay the entire amounts of any overpayment when they file their 2021 tax return next year. And families with 2021 adjusted gross income in between these threshold amounts will need to repay a portion. Next slide, please. Let's talk about the online portal. The American Rescue Plan Act also directs the IRS to develop an online portal so that individuals can update their information for purposes of this new enhanced child tax credit. The portal will be important to ensure that non-filers, newly employed taxpayers, and parents with children born this year in 2021, that they are able to access the advanced payment of the new enhanced child tax credit. If your circumstances changed and you believe those changes could affect the amount of your child tax credit for 2021, be sure to go into the portal once it's up and running and update your information. The IRS says that it should be up and running in early July. Next slide. Just to summarize, the IRS will be sending out monthly payments for the new enhanced child tax credit between July and December 2021. The new enhanced child tax credit increases the amount of the child tax credit from $2,000 to $3,600 for children under 6 and $3,000 for children 6 to 17. The eligibility for this credit has been expanded and it is now fully refundable. If you're not eligible for the new enhanced, you might still be eligible for the regular child tax credit amount. Be sure to be looking for the online portal expected to be running in early July to update any information. Now, I'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have. There's a question function that you can type any questions that you have. Also, my email is on the slide and our phone number is on the slide if you have any questions later that you just didn't think of now. So happy to answer any questions.
It looks like Dee Dee, right now we don't have any coming through, but as you said, like feel free to please add those into the question box, and I'm more than happy to take a look. Sometimes it just takes a moment for people to type them out as well.
Okay.
All right, well, I'm not seeing anything come through. So is there anything else you'd like to address?
Just that it's really important to help share this information. When I go out and tell people, a lot of people, they have no idea this is coming. So if you could help tell your family members, tell your friends, be sure that folks know. If anyone is concerned about anything or concerned about the online portal and they have questions, please have them email us at taxclinic@ilsi.net or call us at 812-339-7668, and we're happy to help anyone or do a one-on-one consultation if somebody reaches out to us.
Dee Dee, it does look like we had a few people join a little late in the presentation. We will keep these, I believe, Michaela, if you can address whether or not we'll save the PowerPoint presentation, then this recording of today's program so people can download it if they've missed it. We did have a few people that registered for the program and didn't sign on too. So Michaela, can you confirm that we will have this available as a recording?
Yes, so we have been recording the webinar for anyone who popped on late. So a copy will be sent out to everyone who registered along with a copy of the slide deck. And then you can also go to prosperityindiana.org and I'll type our website into the chat and visit our COVID-19 hub. We've been placing all of the recordings and slide decks there as well.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for your time, Dee Dee, and your information. And hopefully for even those who weren't able to attend, everyone will have a chance to go over the recording and reach out to you if they have any questions.
Great. Thank you.
All right, this concludes the webinar. Thank you all.